Hey guys, MrCrayfish and welcome back to another modding tutorial. In the previous tutorial, I showed you guys how to set up your mod class. In this tutorial today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to add in your own items to the game. Now, as previously stated, 1.8 did change the way that you create items, specifically defining the textures, because now what you've got to do is create individual JSON files for every single item that you actually add into the game. And it is quite confusing trying to learn how to add these and putting them in the right location. This is why I've started these tutorials, because I wanted to teach people and I didn't want to keep the knowledge to myself. I wanted to share it with everybody. So I'm going to be showing you how to add items today. So what we're first going to do is we're going to go over to our package here that we created last tutorial, and I'm going to create a new package. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to keep that name there, but at the end we're going to do .init finish, and then we'll also up here, what I like to do is just click this down arrow, go to package presentation and click on this one here. It's just a whole lot nicer. Click on the init package here, and we're going to create a folder, or we're going to create a class in there called tutorial items, and this is where all our initialization for items is going to go. It's just a whole lot more organized if we actually put it into a separate class. Go ahead and do that. We're going to create a public static void method called register. Now above the method, what we want to do is just create a couple of spaces, and then we just want to start creating some item variables. So to do this, we need to type in public static item and then the variable name. Now I suggest you do it like this because it keeps to the kind of Minecraft code. So you want to type in your item name. So if we're going to have a sword, we might just, an iron sword, we'll type in iron_sword. So you want to, if there's a space in the name, use an underscore and keep it all lowercase. So we might type in, for this tutorial, we might just type in test item, just because. And then you want to go ahead, press Ctrl+Shift+O, and then if it comes up with this, you want to click on net.minecraft.item.item, double click on that. And then inside our register method here, what you want to do is type in test_item equals new item. And at the end of that, do a dot, and we'll get all these methods coming up. You want to type in set unlocalized name, enter on that, and then you want to type in the same as up here, so test_item, test_item, and then semicolon at the end, like so. Now we're actually going to change this register here to init instead, because we want another method actually called register, because that's not the registering, that's the initialization. So create another method called public static void register. That, and then we want another method as well called public static void register renders. And then create that method. Now inside of the register method, we're going to type in game registry, and then we're going to type in register item, double click on that method there, and then simply pop in our item variable up here into the first parameter. Then for the second one, pop that in too, but after it, do a dot, and you want to type in get unlocalized name dot substring 5. Now basically what this does is when you get the unlocalized name, it actually returns this here. So if we get that, it returns this here, but it adds this tile dot at the front of it. Basically substring will get the string after 5 characters, so it won't read this, but it will get the rest of the string after 5 characters here. So that's the 5 that we want to not include, and then it will just return the rest here. So that's why we substring it there, because we just want to get this, and this is the easiest way to do it without actually typing it in again. We can just do this. So we've registered it. Now we've actually got to register the render, and we've got to create another method, and then this method is going to be called public static void register render, and then we're going to pass in the item parameter, so item space item, and then squiggly brackets, and then inside of here we're going to type some new code which is used to register the render. So we're going to type in Minecraft dot, we'll load up here, get Minecraft, so do that, and then you're going to type in get render item dot get item model mesher dot register, and then what we simply do is in the first parameter here pass in item, and then for the definition then we want to do dot register, but you want to make sure you select this second one here, not this top one, so this second one here, enter on there. Then the first parameter is our item parameter, so simply just leave it as item because it's named exactly the same. Then for the meta here, we're going to type in 0, it's already coming up for me there, and then the location, what you want to do is you want to type in new model resource location brackets. Now inside of these brackets we've got two arguments to pass in, one being the kind of the mod ID and the name of the item, and then the other just being the string inventory. So what you want to do is you want to type in reference.mod ID, and you do plus quotations inside of there, do a colon, and then after those quotations do another plus, and we want to do item dot, and let's just move this across. You want to do item dot get unlocalized name, and then we want to do the same as before. We want a substring 5. Then after that substring bracket there, we're going to do a comma, space, and then simply do another quotation. And inside of there, we're going to type inventory, and then go ahead, press Ctrl Shift O. That will import the model resource location class. And then inside of the register renders method, what you want to type in is just register render, and then we're going to copy in the variable name up here, pop that inside the brackets, and semicolon on the end. And there we go, we've registered our item and we've registered the renders. Now go back to your mod class, and inside of pre-initialization method, what we want to do is type in tutorial items dot not register init, so register items init, and then we're going to type in tutorial items dot register. Now we're not doing the renders yet because we've actually got to create a proxy class. So let's do that now. What we're going to do is click on our main package here, com.mrcrayfish.tutorial. Click on new package at the top here. Leave that there, but do a .proxy on the end. And I'm going to create two classes, one called common proxy, and the other is going to be called client proxy. So everything in the client proxy is done client side, everything in the common proxy is done server side. So what you want to do is in client proxy, you want to make that extends common proxy, and inside a common proxy we're going to create a method called public void, or public, oh no, we're actually just going to call it public void register renders, and then squiggly brackets to create a method there. And then inside of client proxy, what we're going to do is copy that method. Inside client proxy, we're going to paste that in there too, but above it we're going to type @override. This just lets us know that this method is being overridden from the superclass here, and yeah, just basically that. Now inside of this register renders inside the client proxy, we're going to type in furniture item, or not furniture items, I'm getting confused with my own mod, tutorial items dot register renders. Save that. Now you want to go back to your reference class here, and we're going to create some more public static final strings here. So we need to do 2 more. So public static final string, and I'm going to call this one client underscore proxy underscore class equals, and then you need to type in the location of your client proxy class. So you want to type in your package name. So we started off with com.mrCrayfish.tutorial, and then we created a package inside of there called proxy. So we do a .proxy on the end, and then we need to type in our class name, which is client proxy. So another dot at the end, and then type in client proxy, and now make sure that you use it's case sensitive as well, so make sure that you use capital C and capital P. So that's our client proxy, and then we're just going to copy that, put that onto a new line, and we're just going to call this one, instead of client, server, and then instead of here for client proxy, type in common proxy, and there we go. Go back to your mod class, and we need to create a variable in here. So you want to type in public static common proxy space proxy, and then above that, let's first do Control-Shift-O, automatically imports it. Well, it should do. Yeah. Do it again. Yep, there we go. So just do it again. So Control-Shift-O. Above it, what we need to do is type @sided proxy. We need to create some brackets. Inside of there, we need to type client side with a capital S equals reference dot client side proxy or client proxy class. Then we need to do comma, and then we need to type in server side equals reference dot server proxy class. Now go ahead, Control-Shift-O, that will import sided proxy, and we've created our proxy now. And what we need to do is above, or in the initialization method here, we want to type in proxy dot register renders. Now if you don't know, this method here will only get called on a client side, and then the method in the superclass will only get called on a server side. Now this is important because if we go into here, Minecraft.getMinecraft.getItemRender is a client side only class. If this was called on the server, it will actually return an error. So that's why proxies are really useful for when you're modding. So we've created our item, we've registered the renders. If we go back to our mod class here, we've initialized it, we've registered it, and we've also registered the renders. If we go ahead and we load up the game now, just go ahead, just check it in the mods here, tutorial mod, yep, we're all good. Now it's actually not going to be in the game, we're just going to do a special command to actually do this, so don't worry. So if we just go ahead and type /give space and then press tab space, then type in your mod ID, so ours is TM, and then we press tab, it will automatically fill in our item, and if we get that, as you can see, it is a block. Now this is where these JSON files come in, because we've actually got to create this file so it actually renders as an item. So I've just created a texture for my item. It's a 16 by 16 file, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and save that as, and what we need to do is go to our folder, so Minecraft tutorial, and then you go into this source folder, main, resources. We need to create a couple new folders. So the first one we're going to do is do new folder and call this assets. Then inside of there we're going to create a new folder, and this has got to be the name of your mod ID. So ours is TM. Then we're going to create 2 folders, one called models, so models, and then the other one is textures. And inside of textures, create a new folder called items. Then open that up, and you want to save your item in here. And we named our item, if we go back into here, we called it test item, and this is what I want you guys to save the file as. So go into here, test item.png, save that. And if we actually come back to our environment here, and we'll just click on the Minecraft project, press F5, and then if we have a look in here, as you can see, it's got the folders that we created, so your assets and TM. We've got our models and then our textures.items here. We just created that. Now in models, what we need to do is right click that, do new folder, and what we want to do is type in item, and then this is where our models for items are going to go. So what we're going to do is right click that, and we're going to do new untitled text file, and what we've got to paste in here is some rendering code. Now this is going to be using the default code for items, so we're going to take a look at that real quickly. So go down here to reference libraries, this top one here called Forge Source, click on assets, Minecraft, models, item, and then we just want to click on a simple one, apple here. You want to copy that text there, copy that, then just close it off, paste it into the text file we're currently creating, and then for this bit here where it says layer 0, what we want to do is type in TM for our mod ID, colon, items, and then test item. Go ahead, press save, it will come up with this window. You want to scroll down, or you want to open up Minecraft, go to source, main, resources, assets, TM, models, item, and then for the file name, name that test item.json, so J and then sun. Press OK. We can close that off now, and as you can see over here, we've got it inside that all that folder basically, test item.json. And if we go ahead and we load up the game now, we should have our texture applied to our item. Hold the phone, I got a spelling mistake on my texture item. If we go over here, as you can see, I wrote text item. Let's rename that. Call it test item. Press OK, and we'll load up the game again. Make sure that your item names, that's actually a good good thing to bring up. Make sure that your item names, your model names are correct, because you might be having a problem with it and you don't know what it is, and it could be just a simple thing like that. I've had problems like that before where it's just something really simple but you spend a couple of hours on it. So make sure that your model names and your texture names are correct. So let's go into the game now. So there we go, we've created a we've added our very simple item into the game. In the next episode, we're going to be looking at adding blocks into the game. If you have any troubles today in this episode, let me know in the comments, because I am going to be helping you guys out, because I don't want you guys struggling for this 1.8 update, and I am very glad to help anybody that does ask. So if you do have any problems, let me know in the comments. But there we go, added in an item into the game, and again, next tutorial we'll be going over blocks. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to keep up with this tutorial series, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.